Hello and welcome to the DC Stewart Show Podcast, along with my co-hosts Isaah and Najee. I'm your host, Derek Stewart, and we are here today. We're doing a live stream, and we're happy to be here from the weekend of sports. We're going to be talking a little bit about the NBA, moving, forward to Thursday because Thursday is going to be the first game, game one. We will go extensively into that. We have some other up-to-date current sports news to talk about. Thank you for joining us first and foremost. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We're going to be doing this every week. We're going to be streaming live, and we're going to be talking to you directly one-on-one, and we appreciate you, the viewer, being with us. Make sure that you actually leave us a comment, and we'll respond to as many comments as we can get to. We have some upcoming interviews that we'll be recording, so we'll keep you up to date on that. First and foremost, it's a great Monday. I'm happy to be here. Najee's happy to be here. Isaah is happy to be here. What else can I say?
Yeah.
So let's introduce you to my co-host, Isaah.
Hey guys, how are you? It's beautiful, man. It's nasty raining outside, but guess what? It don't stop nothing, man. We're gonna do this thing. Yes, sir.
How about you, Najee?
So it's same here. I'm in South Florida also, but weather stinks right now. So it's really showing you that it's hurricane season. So we're gonna get a whole bunch of moisture. But other than that, it's not stopping this part. We here. We here.
Where the party at?
Well,
It's right here.
The party
Right
is right here.
here.
We ain't going nowhere, and we getting this ball rolling. We are currently live
yep.
streaming on Facebook as well as Instagram. So please visit us there at those two platforms if you want to see us live. We're definitely live on YouTube right now. We hope everybody else is having as good a day as we are because we're going to be doing some big things today. Let's get this party started and let's talk about the first topic that we're going to be talking about. This is going to be the NBA finals. We've been waiting on these finals for the last month. I mean, the playoffs started out. We were able to get down to the last four teams, and we made some predictions. I said the last show that I thought it was going to be Indiana versus OKC. We're going to be doing some analysis on these two teams, how these two teams match up, what is needed for either team to be able to take control and win the series. I got my own idea of what I think is, should happen, especially if Indiana wants to gain control and control the series and win the NBA finals. That's going to be a big uphill battle for the Pacers, although you never want to count the Pacers out because the Pacers have come this far and
Clearly.
they're hungry, they're young, they're aggressive, and they are not
Great coach.
well
They well
coached as
coached
well.
too. Yes.
I mean, that's going to give them an advantage right there. Just the
hmm
coaching aspect of it. The biggest thing for me is I want to say that these two teams match up fairly decent when it comes to both sides of player on player, and that type of thing, because if you look at how the starting lineups are looking now and you look at some of the second team lineups from filling from the bench and being able to sub from the bench, Najee will be able to go into all of that stuff with us. But I must say that New York laid an egg. I think the New York Knicks laid an egg. They had the perfect opportunity to get back to the finals, and they just had one team standing in their way. And guess who that team was? It was the Indiana Pacers. You cannot underestimate anyone, any team, any particular competition the day that you're going to show up and play, because the bottom line is if you show up and don't show out and the other team does, they're going to win and you're going to go home. And that's what happened with New York. I just think New York blew some opportunities. I mean, and more so from a player performance part than more so from a coaching part. I just think they had some good opportunities to make ways and gain control of the series that Indiana defeated them in. And I'm pretty sure that other people think the same, and there's people just going to disagree with it. But what I must say is, I'm excited about Thursday. I'm going to watch every game in this series because I didn't get a chance to watch all of the playoff games, the conference finals, and the regional finals and stuff like that. So, Najee, I want to start out with you first. And we're going to talk about the two main players. We already know it's Tyrese Haliburton and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. What do you think is needed from these two players to step up to really take control and help their teams get to the promised land, which is that NBA trophy?
Well, let's start off with the Knicks before we get to the actual finals. The
Right.
Knicks later Ed, because they come play defense. They weren't playing no defense, and like I was said with Jalen Bronson. Jalen Bronson is the best offensive player, but he also was the worst defensive player. He has the same tributes to a game like Luca. Like Luca is going to kill you in so many places in this game. But the thing
Mm-hmm.
is, he can't guard a stop sign. It's amazing how man was just blowing right past him. And then when he does try to defend, he's fouling. So he really could not guard anybody. I think, if I'm not mistaken, if they didn't score every game, the Pacers scored at least 120 points per game. You're not playing no defense. You're not playing no defense for you to get beat, to actually let them beat you like that. Now you know nobody's going to. Now mind you, the Knicks just beat who? The Celtics, right? You cannot tell me the Pacers are better than the Celtics. You can't tell me that. They are not better than the Celtics. So for you to lose to them, that means you really cannot guard them. Now, what I can say is they do have a better coaching over there because the Celtics had nothing but they was doing nothing but really just shooting the ball a lot. But the Pacers, they're trying to beat you in every aspect of the game. They're trying to make you foul. They're trying to run the ball a little bit. They're trying to shoot the ball. They were trying to show you every aspect of how to play offense.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I mean, that's what it is. The Pacers was actually trying every type of way to beat you,
Correct.
and guess what? They actually played defense. That's and you said that too. Defense help you win championships. Since they
Defense
wasn't
do
playing
win
defense,
championships. Yep.
that's why they're doing the same thing we're doing now at our homes.
That's so
Now let's
true.
talk about now let's talk about the matchups between the Thunder and the Pacers. Like I said, I truly don't believe nobody can match up with them. I don't really think so because now when you talk about let's just go with Miles Turner. He's not gonna be able to keep up with Chad because Chad can actually shoot the ball. Now, because mind you, Turner like to play like interior defense. He likes to block shots. That's why he's almost a 7-footer that can't really rebound that much because he looks to shot block versus um actually rebound the ball like what big men really do.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have Shea. Nobody on that team is going to be able to guard Shea. Now I guarantee what you call is going to try to Siakam. Siakam's going to try to probably guard him the most because Tyrese
Pascal
is not going to be able to
Siakam.
stop him.
Pascal Siakam,
Yeah,
correct?
yeah. Siakam, yeah, exactly. Because he's going to be able to try to guard him because Tyrese couldn't guard Bronson, and Shea is taller. Shea is about 4 inches taller than him
Right.
than Bronson is. So he's not going to. He's the leading scorer of the playoffs and the season. So you're not going to be able to stop him. You're not. Now you got now the bench. The bench is going to be that's going to be probably the difference between the two. But the thing is, to me, I mean, they actually have more scores too because now you have Jalen Williams, you have Chet, you have Shea, and then sometimes you have even the Jalen Williams because they have Jalen Williams with a Y if I'm not mistaken. So they have more scores on that team while they actually play defense. If the Knicks play defense anywhere even close with the Thunder does, they should have been in the finals because I actually wanted to see Bronson versus Shea. That would I think just between those two, head to head, would have been crazy.
True. True. I mean, and we talked a little bit about the star power of New York being there, and it's a legacy franchise. They've been around forever. Oklahoma City is a fairly new franchise, even though they've been in the league 20 plus years, I would say. But anytime you have a legacy franchise, the Lakers, the Miami Heat, uh, teams like the New York Knicks and the Boston Celtics. And, I can go on and on and on about certain teams just been certain places. Golden State has been around for a long time, too. Most people don't even understand that Golden State was a perennial loser before Steph Curry got
Yeah.
there. They were at the bottom of the barrel every year in the
They kind of how the
West.
Clippers were to the Lakers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you look at teams like Sacramento, who made a come up back in the early 90s, the mid 90s. They had really good teams, but Oklahoma City has been so impressive to me because they've been able to overcome so many obstacles, and they're a young team, and they able to really kind of gel together more so than any other team that I've seen lately, because you got Shai and that cast of players that's playing right behind him or right along with him. You couldn't get a better arrangement of players together to put them in the finals versus the Pacers. Now, I'm going to go ahead and just say the Pacers, I am not going to underestimate the Pacers by any level.
Obviously, you can't underestimate any underdog except for if they went against the Thunder, because I think everybody kind of figured the Thunder was going to make it, but the East was still kind of wide open. So we really thought, if anything, it was going to be the top three, which was going to be the Cavs, Celtics, or the Knicks. It was neither one of them. It was the fourth team. It was the Pacers.
Right. So Isaiah, what do you think the Knicks did wrong to lose this series? I mean, Najee just explained it. He just summed it up in a nutshell. It was defense. But do you think Cat became a mouse? I mean, because if you think about Karl Anthony Towns, very talented player, super good player when he's hot, when it comes to shooting. But did he really show up for this series? I mean, because the one game I know he showed up, that they were able to get and take care of the Pacers, but I didn't see any other games where he just literally stuck out more so than, let's just say, Jalen Brunson, because Jalen Brunson's the star of the team, correct?
Yeah, he is. But what I seen in this series with them, it was just a breakdown as a whole with the team. One guy would show out, then the next guy would show out the next game, and then the next guy. If you ain't winning nothing like that, man, you got to all be on the same accord. And all you guys got to play together, and they got to feed off each other. And that ain't what I seen, man. I seen one guy shine a game, and the other guy would shine. That's a recipe for sitting home watching it with us.
Correct.
And that's what's happening to them.
Yeah.
And what I do see is the mere fact that the Pacers was consistent. Even when they lost, and then of course they came back the next game and regathered themselves and won the next game. So, man, it was just really a game that that the Knicks wasn't going that far because the strategy of defense wasn't never ever solid throughout the whole season. They were, break down on defense, and you can't break down on defense going into the postseason. Otherwise, they're going to be watching it with us, and that's what they're doing. Down to the star power, man. I think Spike Lee, when in the way these guys are accustomed to doing stuff in New York in particular, man, they had those guys as hyped as they can get them, man. I hadn't seen that many stars come out. That's so gratified to see them go that far in the playoff. They hadn't been there in 20 years, and to see all of those guys pop up out there like that, slapping hands with all the media and enjoying these moments before the game started, socializing and hyping these guys up. And Spike Lee came out every night with a Boston jersey on, something where he was showing the man, I need you to push this thing. And guess what? They fell short because the Pacers had something for their behind. And you couldn't say it better with Mike Tyson say, everybody have a game plan until you got hit in the mouth. And that's what they did. They got hit in the mouth. They got hit in the mouth.
And they weren't able to respond, correct? They got hit in the mouth.
Yes, sir.
And they did not have a response other than maybe two games. They had a direct response to what Indiana was doing to them. And when you are competing against other teams, or if you even in a one-on-one like a boxing, sport, a sport like boxing, Mike Tyson summed it up eloquently. You get hit in the mouth, you get in trouble,
Yep.
you start to see stars, you start to have a headache. Can you
You
power
get
through that?
tired.
Can you
Yeah.
power through
Yep.
some of the things, the adversity that an opponent is going to be trying to render upon you, because they're going to render plenty of adversity on you to get what they objective wants. They're looking out to get from their objective from it. So, I only look at teams like the teams that can really step up and respond. And it's always a player that you would never kind of, expect to step up. It's a player coming off the bench, like it used to be in the 80s. You used to have the Byron Scotts of the world. And I mean, Byron Scott didn't come off the bench. He was actually a starter, but you had players that would come off the bench, Michael Cooper and them guys for the Lakers, and they just would step up their game when they needed to step it up.
Yeah.
I mean, James Worthy, he was another starter.
They all knew their roles, DC.
They all
Those
knew
guys
their
all knew their roles.
They all
Yeah.
knew Magic and Kareem was going to get most of the press and the glory, but when they needed to step up, they stepped up. And that I didn't see that with New York nor Minnesota, because Minnesota didn't seem to step up as well. And Ant-Man is taking a lot of heat for that.
Yeah. They got something in common. Both of them are home with us.
But Minnesota. They stars was to blame for that series. I'm gonna blame the stars for that because especially yes, of course. I mean, you had games that both of them or neither one of them score at least 20. You need your star players to give you at least 20.
True.
Come on, your star players, the ones that takes all the shots, that takes between 16 to like 24 shots. You got to give me a 20 point. Because now you're efficient and you're taking all the shots from us, and you turn the ball, and they both will turn the ball over a high clip. I mean, that's nothing. I mean, you just literally set yourself up for disaster. With that point, you're not efficient. You turn the ball over, and then sometimes you are a defensive liability. So you're going to lose that series.
That's for sure. The biggest thing, anytime you have players that are not stepping into certain scenarios, and I'll call it scenarios of a game, where if the coach draw up a play and you follow that play 100%, but let's just say the defense changes their game and it happens real time right in front of you, and you have to make an executive decision and make a play. You might not follow the exact play, but you are making a decision based upon your analysis of you being able to make a score or throw a punch or whatever the case may be. I just didn't see that on these teams that ended up getting eliminated from the series. Now, this is the second year Minnesota has got eliminated, by the way. So there has to be some soul searching to do within that organization. They need to really observe where was the areas that we didn't step up our game against Oklahoma City.
And not only that, DC, when this team, when stuff like that happens too, most of the time you still have a missing piece. Just like we were talking about Robert Horry being in the Hall of Fame. Robert Horry on all of those teams was a missing piece that they needed.
Correct.
And maybe Minnesota need that extra missing piece to take them over that next hump, because for them to get eliminated 2 years like that, they're missing something. The motivational factor is kind of there because they got that far. But then once you get closed out, one game before you go in the finals, that means you needed that missing piece. You need that extra added push. You needed that one person who had that playoff and that championship experience to bring you across that extra hump. And that's what they lacking, man. And then you don't have that person. Next year, it could be the same thing if they don't make acquire the right person to fill that gap.
Exactly. Back in the day, you had all of these role players, and back in the day, and what I mean back in the day is in the 80s and the 90s, and I hate to keep going back, but I'm just from that era. Me and Isaiah is from that era. That when you thought a team was down, there was always someone on that particular basketball team to step to the plate and take over the
Itching to
game,
get a shot. Just itching to get a shot, DC.
itching to get a
They just
shot
was
to
itching to get
play,
a shot.
itching
Yep.
to get a
Yep.
little bit of notoriety,
Mm-hmm.
to be able to gain some fame, or whatever 15 minutes of fame as we call it for human
Yep.
beings. And the bottom line is, I don't see a lot of that nowadays. I see players, from my observation, and I'm strictly speaking on the NBA because I could speak on the NFL as well, but the NBA, you see players that they'll say, "Look, I did my part. I did what I was supposed to do." Especially the stars. Look, man, I did everything I could to make this thing happen, and possibly true. I mean, they possibly
Yeah.
stepped up and did everything, but where was the rest of the team? Where was the rest of the cast? You can't
Yeah.
make a movie if only one actor is acting. You got to make a movie
Yeah.
when everybody is doing their part
Everybody.
and playing their roles, and focusing on their cues and focusing on their lines. It's just
Yeah.
not like that in this day and era for particular professional basketball, and hopefully
Yeah.
that'll change as the
I think,
generation gets older.
DC, even going back to what you were just saying, back in those 80s and the 90s, if you got a superstar that was cold, man, the guy who's sitting behind him would be chastising the coach. Man, pull him out, let me go in.
Yeah, let me get in
These guys
there,
don't even say
coach.
stuff like
Yeah,
that. Let me get in there, I'll do it. These guys don't do it. If they don't play, they don't play. They don't shit. I'm going to the booty shake club. I ain't worried about it. So, man, it's different, man.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
different. I just don't see it.
That's
These
true.
guys just want to get that game over with.
And you know
And
what? A
some of them
lot of
glad that the
times
season is over.
the players on the bench nowadays, they be like, he didn't pick me to play anyway. He didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, the coach didn't start me. So why should I go in and have to save the team, right?
And
That's
not only
just
that,
the
though, but that's
It'd
why
be,
attitude.
we
it'd
It's
be,
lost
a,
because
it'd
I
be
attitude and
a,
didn't play.
effort,
it'd be a
right?
lot
Yeah.
behind that stuff
Yeah.
though. It'd be a whole
Hey,
lot behind that stuff
if,
because teams don't just keep players like they used to. They recycle people real
yeah.
fast. That's why coaches don't even speak up like how they should because they look like they you get fired so fast. Look how Mike Malone just that's been the best coach of that franchise ever and just get let go because it's have some side differences somewhere. It's just it's hard to stay on somewhere if you want, especially if you know you're not that great and you're on a good team, you know not to say nothing. Like if LeBron is pissing the court right now, you think somebody gonna tell the coach, man, take him out the game? Nah, that's
Of
not gonna
course
happen.
not. Of
If you
course
do that
not.
to
Yeah,
Luca, it's not gonna happen. They're not gonna do that. They're not
that's
gonna do
true.
that because they know they can be out of there. Now they probably do that on a garbage team like the Hornets or the freaking Trailblazers. They'll probably do that because they're like, bro, what else we got to lose? Who he ain't that much better than me. Put me in the game. He's ice
Yeah.
cold. He's 2 for 12. But they're not gonna
Yeah.
do that on teams that's has something to lose. They're not gonna do that. They're
That's
not gonna
Well,
do
true.
that. They're not gonna do it
if
to Shea. They're
overall,
not gonna do it to
that
Luca.
enhances your
Nobody.
team too, man. That enhances your team when you know that there's a guy behind me breathing down my neck. If I screw up, they're gonna put him in there. It really
Right.
make that guy motivated not to screw up because if I mess up, then this guy gonna be starting. The competition is not like it used to be, where man, I can't mess up. I mean, even Shay
Nope.
Shay, when he was playing, he said, "Man, I'm gonna do this extra lap. I'm gonna run harder because there's a new guy that's came in trying to take my job." So,
Yeah.
dude, this attitude, they gotta instill that in the new folks, man, because it makes you grind, it makes you work harder, it makes you do the things necessary, even to watch film longer, to watch
True.
these other guys play and to see what they're doing. It's just like making you a student at this game, man, because if you're not into it, you will be sitting home. It's players that they didn't care if they made it to the playoff because vacation coming.
Yeah.
Man, I don't
I'm
know
But
going
what's
to
they
take
already
going
my
getting
on.
paid. That's
vacation
the thing. I
over
also
and
mentioned
Yeah,
about them getting paid.
yeah.
They already getting paid. A lot of
yeah,
those players that you mentioned, they wasn't getting paid yet. They didn't have endorsements. They didn't have money coming
no,
outside
that's
of their
true.
sport. So a lot of
That's
these guys
very
already
well
making
true.
money. So like,
Yeah,
I ain't got to play this hard. Like look at Ben Simmons. As much as I talk about Ben Simmons don't have no goals to do of anything inside of basketball except for continually getting his paycheck. That's
That's
all.
true.
He don't have
That's
no
true.
goals to be a great player.
That's true. And you know what it boils down to, guys? I think it's loyalty from both parties. the organization and the
Yeah.
players, there is no
Yeah.
loyalty anymore. If as far as I can
Nope.
That
see,
that
there is
well,
no
it's a
loyalty.
combination, DC.
Yeah,
It's a combination of that, man. Because even if you felt like the organizations wasn't loyal, but what about self pride and motivating yourself?
that's a
Because
good
if
point.
you was raised being the best you can be, whether you was a garbage man or you was sweeping streets or whatever the case may be, you want to be the best at it. Be the best at it.
Yeah, you be the
But
best at what you do, no matter what you do.
yeah, man,
Correct.
if you gonna do it, be the best at it.
Yeah,
If it's worth your time, be the best at it.
yeah, it's unfortunate that that's the way things are now. That people don't particularly put pride in front of and put team. I mean, because if you're on a team, you're playing a team sport, you need to be cognizant that everybody on the team matters. No matter, even if that bench warmer or is sitting on the bench, you still should show him respect or her respect because it could be in the WNBA as
Okay.
well. You got to show
Well,
respect
listen,
for
man.
all of your players, and that might not be the case in a lot of cases.
Well, that's a sad commentary if not, because I want you guys to really focus on how many people not just graduate from high school every year. How many of those get a chance to go to college
Hmm.
or go to a Division I school and then ultimately become professionals at this? So I actually respect anybody who make it to that highest of height, being in the NFL or the WNBA or the NBA, because it's that little small window of people get a chance to make it. And
It's a
then to
very
be a
small percentage
superstar
of
at it
people.
is a
Yeah,
very small percentage.
right.
Very small.
And that's the
You,
sad story about how sports operate when children grow up and you aspire to play a sport, whether it's an individual sport or whether it's a
yep,
team sport. Usually most children and kids aspirations are to go to that next level, so it's a step of levels. You start at the
yeah,
bottom. Optimus
yeah,
football, for example, you play Optimus football, you see these little teeny little tiny kids out there running with helmets on that's bigger than the child itself.
yeah,
The
yeah.
child, the helmets and the shoulder pads, and then they advance to that next level of
Yeah.
game, and then the talent tends to get better and better and better, and
Mhm.
that's what separates the blue chippers from just your
Yeah.
average athletes on into the pros.
But
You know,
even at that, DC, everything still have to line up correctly to get there, because you got to think about injury. You got to think about so many other things that happens during your journey of being a professional.
true.
So many other variables can happen where you don't make it there. You know, and
That's a
then when
good
they make
point.
it there into act as if they're not gratified or they take it for granted. When you go out there and work a 9 to 5 job, and them guys work on when you play in the NFL 20 weeks, and then basketball is like 80 or 90 weeks, and then
Hmm.
not weeks but games where they are often going to be on a 3 month vacation. So it's nothing. It's a beautiful life to live when you dealing with professional sports, man. You're getting paid enormous money. You can fly your friends and family all over the place when you go to the games, and then when the season is over, you can take these lavish vacations. And other folks, normal folks, got to get up and go bust their behind every day in traffic to get to work, and then have to put
Yep.
up with BS once you get to work, and then come home and cook and feed the kids. And then it's a tough life, man. And those guys
And
can
that's if you can
fly all
still
over
pay
the
your
place and then
bills.
come
That's
home,
if you can still pay your bills
and
after all
then
that.
right. And then you can have a private chef cook your food for you. Or you
And
can
you.
have a driver to drive you around. So, man, they shouldn't take it for granted at all.
Yep. That's so
Yeah.
true. So Najee, give us a little bit of insight on Chet Holmgren and Jalen Williams. Is Jalen Williams going to be the X factor? If let's just say if they're doubling Shai, because they're going to concentrate on Shai a lot in this series.
Hmm.
Rick Carlisle has a game plan for Shea. So who else do you think on that squad is going to really kind of step to the podium and say, "I'm here"?
Honestly, I think he's the second best. I ain't gonna say second best player, but he's the second best scorer. But I honestly, I think the X factor will be Chet though, outside of Jalen Williams, because Jalen Williams is already a better scorer. He's gonna get the second most shots because he already knows he'll get the most shots. But then, of course, Chet, he can block. He got the wingspan. He's tall. He can actually shoot the 3 too. And he's gonna be that other person. I mean, there's nobody on the other team that's his height. So he has a lot of advantages. He got two other players they have to worry about scoring. So if we can lock down Shai, we can lock down Williams. Guess what? Chet's right there still to give you 15 to 25 points, easy. And then of course he can guard. He actually can guard the paint a little bit, unless he has to guard somebody that's heavier than him when it comes to blocking. But then he also can kind of guard the perimeter pretty decent too. Now I'm not saying that he's going to stop them completely. They can still run past him because he's tall as crap. But when it comes to trying to take a shot over him, oh nah, let me send that back.
So, what other player on OKC would step up beyond these two players we just mentioned?
That's his only player. Dort's pretty good too. I don't think he get that many minutes, but Dort's pretty good too. He's gonna definitely spread the floor for you. So at least if one of those players that we mentioned is off and they doubling Shai and we need somebody to spread the floor, Dort's pretty good in spreading the floor. He's a hustle man and he's a 3-and-D.
Okay, and that's Lugan's Dort, right? Small forward.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So let's shift over to Indiana and see what the lineup is going to look like with them. We already know that Tyrese Haliburton and Siakam is the two players to kind of be on the lookout for. Isaiah, which player beyond Siakam and Haliburton is going to be going to step up this game? Because I'm going to make a prediction after you finish, Isaiah, because I think this is really going to decide which direction the series is going in, and I want to see whether you guys agree with me or not. Do you think Miles Turner is going to step up?
Well, he's going to have to step up. I mean, Halliburton, everything runs through him, man. If that team going to be successful, he got to continue to show out because every game where they just slaughtered people, man, he had a great game. His intensity was out the roof, man. He was aggressive the whole game, and the rest of the guys just feed off of him, man. When he's the crowd getting into it, and he's just doing all these crazy shots and the rebounding and the energy level that he brings to the team. That's what they feed on, and that's how they're going to actually have to be competitive. If he's playing that level of basketball every night, that's the only way they really got a chance with OKC. If he's going to play on a high level like that every game, he can't slack off at all, man, because OKC have a tendency of capitalizing when a team is down. They don't let you back up. When they sense that you're going low, they gonna step on you, man. And so he's
That's
got to
it.
continue
You're
to play
done.
hard.
You're done.
Yep.
They don't piss away leads. They really don't.
Nope.
If you're
Nope.
down, you already
Nope.
basically lost.
They ain't
You
gonna play that
basically already
game
lost.
like New York did. Have a big old lead and then come back. Nah.
Guys, New York or the
OKC don't play
Cavs.
that
Nope.
game, man, at all.
Mm-mm. Now, question, fellas. Who you think was deserving of the Eastern Conference Finals MVP? Who you think Siakam was supposed to get that, or you think Halliburton was supposed to get that?
I would, you know
I'm gonna
what,
say
personally,
Halliburton.
I'd say Halliburton because just
Yep.
as Isaiah just spoke, Halliburton is the engine. He run
Yes, he
everything
is.
runs through him. And the
Yeah.
way
That
the
was crazy.
speed and the intensity that he play at, I haven't seen in a
Mhm.
long time. I mean, the guy is
Right.
sprinting up and down that court.
Yep.
And you know, when you play in a guard position like he's playing, other teams have to adjust really fast. Because if they don't
Yes.
adjust really fast, then if you got a player with foot
Hmm.
speed like he has, on top of
Yes.
skill set like he has, it's very hard to
Mhm.
defend against something like Halliburton because someone like
Yeah.
Halliburton, because at the end of the
Yep.
day, you don't know what he may do, which direction
That's
he may
it.
go in. Just look at that
Yeah.
shot that he made against New York. I mean, he turned
Yeah.
around. sprinted toward the basket, stopped on a dime, did a 360, and made a shot that just didn't seem makeable at the time, right?
Yeah, DC.
It wasn't
Man,
makeable. The God helped
Haliburton.
him with that
He
shot.
made it exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, yeah.
If you think about his level of play and what in his contribution to this team, it reminds me so much of Dwayne Wade when he was young.
Me
When he
too.
was young, when he
I
came out of the
agree.
box, man,
I
because
agree.
you was thinking that it was Shaq's team, it was going to be Morning's team, it's going to be the center's team, and when they injected Wade in there, man, and that dude came in there relentlessly, just going to the hole, you could smash him. And I thought, dude, I thought he was going to have
But
a
did he?
tailbone issue because every freaking game he would land on his butt because he was going to the hole. He was going to challenge you, man. And that's
True.
Haliburton all the way. Haliburton going to bring it to you every night, man. And this is the reason why that's the only shot they got is through him. That's their engine.
So
Yep.
Najee, Obi Toppin,
Obi Toppin, what about him? You
what
think
is he
he's a
gonna do in
X
this
factor?
series?
Nah.
He's not gonna be an
He's
X
gonna do
factor.
exactly what he do. He's gonna do some hustle plays, and he's not even that great of a shooter. He's just gonna do some hustle plays. He might get some back doors. He'll go ahead and get a couple of alleys if anything. But he's really more of a just a energetic player. He doesn't really. He's not gonna like set tone on anything. If that's what you mean.
Right, right.
If anything, that's gonna be if anybody's gonna set tone on that team, besides Turner and Tyrese, I mean, it's going to have to be between Turner or Siakam. That's what it's going to really be. It's really going to have to be that because Siakam, he has the potential to give you between 25 and 30. He don't do that too often now, but he will definitely give you between 15 and 20.
True.
But but Turner, yeah, if anything, it's probably gonna have to end up being Turner. He's gonna have to get this. He's gonna have to step up his game from whatever numbers his numbers steady be. Like if it's 12, 4 rebounds, and like a block and a half, he's gonna have to push it to closer to 20. He's gonna have to give me about 6 or 7 more rebounds because guess what? OKC can rebound also, so they gonna definitely have to focus on that versus just blocking shots. And then of course he's gonna have to really protect the paint because I mean uh Shai, he can shoot the mid range and he likes to get to the rim also. He loves to get to the rim. He don't let he can hit the mid range, but he loves slashing to the goal. And guess what? If you too close or if you give him a little body, he's gonna bump into you. He's going to the line. You got to keep him. That's one thing you really have to do is keep Shai off the line. If you keep him
Right.
off the line, then that keeps everybody honest.
That's a good point. That's a good point. So here's my whole thing with the NBA series, the way the NBA has their series laid out. Whoever get that first game is going to be in charge, and they're going to be in charge of the series. Now, if Indiana goes in and get this first game, Oklahoma City is going to be playing uphill from there. They just going to be because what it does, it puts a team like
That's what
the
happened to the
home
Knicks,
team who
DC.
has home field advantage. It puts them at a
Put them at
disadvantage when
odds.
they lose that
Yes,
first
it
game.
does.
If
Yep,
Indiana
that's
gets
what
this
happened to the Knicks
first game,
in the
OKC gonna be in
series.
some trouble.
Yep.
Because what OKC
Well,
is going to have to do is they're going to have to match that, and they're going to have to do just like New York did. They're going to have to try to come back and
mm-hmm.
win that second
Yep.
game to try to even the
Mm-hmm.
series, to start the series out fresh again.
It was a total
Technically,
sense of urgency.
it's a
Yep.
sense of urgency. But if
Yep.
Indiana loses this first game, Indiana is going to be struggling trying to catch up with Oklahoma City.
Well, they'll be okay because
In
that
my
means
prediction,
OKC did
that's
what they're
what's
supposed
going
to
to
do.
happen.
They
I
home.
think they're going to lose.
I think I'm going to predict right now. I think Indiana's going to get this first game. I'm just going to go out on a
You don't
limb.
want to. You don't
I'm
want to
just
put
going to
money
go
on
out on a
that.
limb.
You
Well,
don't
you
want to
better
put money
hold
on
that
that. You
damn
don't want to
limb
put
down,
money on
bro.
that.
Hey, look, I ain't going to put no
You don't want
money
to put
You
on
better
money
it.
on
not
that.
down the limb, bro.
But
You don't
let
want
me
to put
tell
money
you
on that.
something.
Listen,
Let me tell you something what I
listen,
do
man.
know. Let me tell you what I
Let me
do
tell you what
know.
I do know. I know it's hurricane season, and you go out there on that limb, it might snap.
Now, you talking about from a realistic standpoint. I'm talking about from a realistic standpoint. However, OKC don't have Rick Carlisle. They don't have Rick Carlisle.
They
This
got a
coach for
good coach. I got to give
OKC
it to him.
he's done a phenomenal job. He's been in the
Yeah,
league for a long time, but he has not been in the league longer than Rick Carlisle, nor does
yeah,
he's going to be able to strategize like Rick Carlisle. Rick
yeah,
Carlisle
yeah.
is going
But
to have this team ready to win this first game. I'm just telling you.
yeah. But
Because nobody would
DC
have
is
predicted that Indiana was going to go in and get New York in the first game, right? Everybody, New York.
First two games.
Got them
First
two
two
yeah. They
games.
games.
beat them first two.
Now, if
Yeah,
Indiana gets OKC 2 games, the series is done.
yeah.
It's over.
It's something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're going to just stamp them out. Because
I'm gonna tell
I,
you honestly, I did not factor that in, and we discussed this earlier, where we were talking about that experience of being there, and Carlisle has been there as a
thank
coach
you.
and as a player, man. So
Thank you.
that's what actually got him this far. When you got a good group of players, it just adds to the dynamic of having a good coach surrounding that thing. Because I just looked at just in my mind's eye of when Phil had Jordan, and then of course Pat Riley having Dwayne Wade and Shaq, and then he had the guys over on the West Coast with Magic and the rest of the guys over there. Man, it's one thing to have a good coach and good players, man, because he has a good player at Halliburton, and Carlisle is he's just a really, really good coach, man. And he's been there before. He's been through the obstacles of coaching and as a player. Yep.
Well, Rick Carlisle is that sixth man they need. I mean, he's the sixth man.
The six
Technically,
man.
Okay.
he's a coach
Okay.
coaching them, but he's that sixth man.
Okay.
That's how I'm going to
And
look at it with Rick Carlisle, because Rick
it might be
Carlisle,
the seventh man.
he's played the game. He knows the game inside out. So
Yeah.
I don't think Oklahoma City is going to underestimate Indiana going in there, because Oklahoma City's they going to be ready. They're going to be ready to take it to Indiana. But what I think is that's going to depend on whether Oklahoma City could shut down Haliburton and Siakam. Because if they
I
can't
think
shut
they're
those
gonna
two,
have some for him though.
well, they're going to have to. They're going to have something
Yeah.
for those two guys. Because if they don't, they're going to end up with the potential of being down 0-1. That's what's going to happen with this series.
Well, my prediction of OKC winning it all. So you know where I
Well,
stand. I've been saying it
I
all year.
respect that. I respect every
Yeah.
bit of what you just said. But what I'm saying on behalf of the Indiana Pacers, they have defied the odds all the way up to now. They didn't come this far to get trounced. They didn't come this far to lose. Listen, whenever you get confidence in any point in your life, when you think you can do it, but you're not sure you can do it, but then you continually exceed that expectation that you could do it. Like, damn, we got past New York. We beat Boston. I mean, we got past Boston, even though there was an injury to Jason Tatum. But not only Boston, but I'm saying New York got past Boston, and
No,
Indiana
they
was
played
able
the Cavs.
the Cavs. I mean, the Cavs were a young,
Yeah.
aggressive team as well. So, each level that they take that step to the next level, it just gives them overly exceptional confidence to go into this series knowing that we could win. We could win. We ain't come here to lose, although Oklahoma City might impose their will on them and make them lose. But I just see Indiana as kind of one of those teams. It's kind of like a playoff team in the NFL where they get hot in the wild card game, and then nothing could stop them all the way up to the Super Bowl, and then they get to the Super Bowl and they get that handled too. That's how I'm
Yeah,
looking
I
at
just think
Indiana.
we're in for. I know this should be
We're
a
in for
really
a
good
treat.
series, man.
We're in for a
Yeah,
treat for both teams,
yeah.
because the only advantage I would give to Indiana over Oklahoma City is Rick Carlisle, and I'm gonna just leave it at that. That's the only
Okay.
that he is the A plus, and the winning factor for Indiana, and he's gonna do a great job. I think he will, as well as Oklahoma City's coach is gonna do a great job. So we'll definitely be watching these games, and then depending on who win this first series, this first game, because at the end of the day, whoever win this first game is going to be in control of the series. Whoever lose this first game, they're going to have to re-strategize and try to come up with something else to just even try to get it even by the second game, you know? So
Yeah.
we'll move on to the next
Well,
topic.
both teams got somebody that won the championship, so we'll
Oh,
see.
no doubt about it. No doubt about it. That's for sure. Both
Thomas Bryant won with the Nuggets, and Alex Caruso won with the Lakers. So they got somebody from each team that got the championship.
exactly. So they have that experience from that perspective of a championship perspective from that, you know.
For me personally, I think the OKC best team they went against was the Nuggets. If we're gonna just put it that way, we can move on. But I'm just saying, I think that was their biggest challenge.
You know what? I believe you're right. I think you're right. I'm not going to refute that because the Nuggets were a scrappy team, even without Mike Malone, because Mike Malone should have never been gone. But that's a whole nother topic and subject that we talked about in the past. But for them not to have Mike Malone, and then they can go to the level and put Oklahoma City through that series, I do believe Oklahoma City, that was their gauntlet. That was their gauntlet to get to the promised land. And we'll see how that plays out because you got it's like two young fighters. It was like that Hagler Hearns. Hearns came out of the box throwing haymakers. Every blow was a haymaker.
Everything.
Every blow. And then Hagler, 2 punches, boom, boom. Hearns was down.
Yeah.
He was down. So you got just this
Juice.
type of setup.
Curly perm juice was everywhere.
Curly perm juice was all over the place, all over the ring, landing on the fans in the first row, in the whole 9 yards. But you never can take away the fact that Tommy Hearns gave it all he had. He just ran out of gas.
Yeah.
And Hagler had his head made of steel at the time. So, you know.
Yeah.
Let's move on to this next topic. And I want to talk a little bit about the WNBA. And I want to talk about star player Angel Reese, superstar player, not just star player. She has superstar power to me. She played at the highest level in high school. Then she played at the highest level at LSU. And now she's in the WNBA making waves, you know, making big shots, making plays, the whole 9 yards. But it tends to seem like a lot of controversy follows Angel Reese. I want to start out with you, Isaiah. Do you think the media is treating Angel Reese fairly?
They mistreating her, you know.
Why is that?
They mistreat her.
How
Man,
are they mistreating her?
Is a level of she's this, and this gets spurs back from when she was in college, man. She was going at it with, you know, other players in college, and now it just drifted off into the NBA, WNBA. That's all it is, man. And it never going to go away. It's never going to go away. As long as she's superstar status
Long
and
as she stays
continue to be in the
irrelevant.
limelight and playing, and they've been, you know, comparing her with Caitlyn, and it's just going to always be that thing where you got one group pulling for that one group pulling for that one. So whenever she's out there, they're going to scrutinize everything that she does. It's just the way things are right now with the world. You know, not just her by herself. It's always that I'm on this team, I'm Team Caitlyn or I'm Team Reese. It's just that way.
Either
And
you
no
take
matter what she
sides, right?
do,
You're telling me
they
that you're going
taking
to take a
sides.
side. You ain't going to be in the middle. You're going to take a side. You're going to
No,
either
they're
pick
going to
one
take
side or
sides
the
every
other to
trip.
choose, correct?
Yep, that's how it's working right now, man. You can't be in the middle. I mean, if you in the middle, you just irrelevant. You got to take somebody's side, and that's just the way things are. Me and you can't hang out unless I believe everything that you believe in. Otherwise, we ain't friends. That's the way things working right now, man.
That's so true.
Whether it's, I mean, politics wise and all the other foolishness that's going on. If you ain't down with what I believe in, dog, we don't hang out no more, which is sad. because
Yeah.
it ain't supposed to be structured like that. It's supposed to you have your own beliefs. I respect your belief, but I believe this way. It's not like that no more, man. So I think
Hmm.
this foolishness gonna carry on with her, man. No matter what she does. I mean, sometimes she don't get the calls that she's due just because of that. You know, sometimes she gets fouled and this, and the people don't even act like that she got fouled because they don't want her to go to the free throw line. It
Right.
just don't make sense to me, man. And sadly, that's the way things are. Sadly,
So, Najee, do
yep.
you think overconfidence or her high confidence level, even at the college level, because I'll start at the college level because that's where I started watching her. It kind of reminds
Mm-hmm.
me of Coach Prime, and I'm going to shift it to football for a short amount of time. Coach Prime was an exceptional player. He was a two-sport player. I mean, he was able to play baseball at the highest level. He was able to play football at the highest level in professional franchises. However, Coach Prime came across as flashy, arrogant, overconfident. Do you think the fact that overconfidence sometimes in your ability to speak in terms of your confidence can put you on a bad crash course with the media?
Yeah, it can because it seems like you just really full of yourself when you overconfident sometimes. Like for example, with Kobe, they just felt like he was selfish and and he just really too overconfident in himself. He believed himself too much, and a lot of times it's just you that helps you. It drives you to be the person you are every day. So I mean, you want to be overconfident or you want to lack confidence? Me, I'd rather be overconfident, at least that I believe in myself, versus
Correct.
somebody that always question if they
Right.
even good enough to even be anything. Like, bro, I mean, that's what happens. I mean, especially if it's a person don't know you and they just see the overconfidence coming out of your pores, they can be like, "Oh, bro, you ignorant and you just too full of yourself." So that's a lot of times
Yeah,
that's how it plays out. I mean, yeah.
yeah,
Me personally, I as much as I love Angel Reese, I feel like she has to be more fundamental with her game because she blows a lot of easy points that she can
Hmm.
get, and she turns the ball over quite a bit, a lot. Like I see her game a lot, especially when she plays against Clark. She tries to be dominant. She tries to do a lot of things that she has to really have to practice on a lot. Like I think she's worried about more of her celebrity and her name more than her developing fundamental skills every game.
That's unfortunate
And I
if
love her.
that's true. I
That's
mean,
that's because
because
that's I'm gonna be honest. That's my celebrity crush. I love me some Angel Reese. I
I do
love
too.
her.
I mean, I think she's the full package. She's the total package. I mean, she kind of reminds me of Florence Griffith Joyner back in the 80s, where she was a track star, created her
yeah.
own brand. She had like tights that was
Mhm.
missing one leg of the
But,
tight, and, because it was
yeah,
different back then. So I
yeah.
would just
The
say
nails.
Angel Reese is different. She's different, but in a positive way, she's different. She's outspoken because I think she's confident that she could back up a lot of the things that she tell you
A, a
she's
lot
gonna
of her
do. It's
game,
like
yeah.
Ali. Ali used to tell people, "I'm gonna knock you out. I'm gonna knock you out." And he go on ABC News with Howard Cosell, and he face off with these guys and say, "You know what? You'll be down in a certain amount of time. I'm gonna knock you out." And a lot of people
Yeah,
disliked Ali for that as well because they thought he was just, constantly, yabbering and gibberish about his ability to
And
be
full
able
of
to do what
himself,
he
yeah.
did. Yeah. So anytime
Hmm.
you have an athlete or a coach, and that refers to Coach Prime, a lot of people hate on Coach Prime because they don't like the fact that he is a leader. He's a total leader. I mean, it's nothing
You see
secondary
how they
about
feel
his
about his
leadership.
kids.
DC,
You see how they feel about his kids.
yeah, but DC and Najee. I mean, when you that good, there's nothing wrong with flaunting a little bit.
Absolutely.
Just think about it. Something. He was able to do that because he was just that good. You take a mediocre player.
Yeah,
How a mediocre player gonna have swag like that, man? You
That's
barely
true.
getting on the damn field. You can't have no swag like that with that the way you walk and the way you talk, man. You will look as being a crazy person if you had the type of swag that Dion has and you wasn't good. People
That's
would
true.
laugh you out the damn stadium, man. You can't even get on the field, but you coming there with the swag that Dion has. He's doing that because he's just that good. Just look at his kids, not just the two that's playing football, Shador and Shallow.
You're
His
talking about
daughter is
Deion
just as
Sanders
good.
Jr. as well, yeah,
Yeah,
and his daughter.
all of them. But even
Talent coming out
Junior,
his
Junior is
pores.
not even an athlete, man, but he's on top of his game with
Mm.
all the other stuff that he's indulging in, man, in business. He's the brain behind all of their stuff that they're
The
doing,
social
man.
media and the
All the
I
communications
agree.
for
promotional
Colorado,
social,
yeah.
yes, man. He's the brain behind all of that stuff. So there's nothing wrong with it, man. And the thing is, they're making their money and they're doing stuff that they like, and there's nothing wrong with it, man. Because if any other group of people was doing it, they wouldn't get that pushback like that. You
Hmm.
know, it just I can say it over
Well,
and over and over again, man. It's just that thing where you love them or you hate them. I happen to love them, all of them, because
yeah.
I see what they're doing, and
Yep.
they're not going out there screwing it up. You know, just think about something. You go out there and you got that much swag and you screwing it up. They're not screwing it up. I'm watching his kids in training camp right now. Guess what? They're shining. They're
For sure.
shining.
For sure.
Both of them.
For
And
sure.
they got picked in later rounds as if you was going to chastise these kids and marginalize their talent, but they're shining right now
Talent.
amongst professionals. This is what they're doing.
That's a
So,
good
man, they
point.
need to give it
I
a
agree.
rest.
You know,
I
Angel
agree.
Reese is playing in a pretty fairly large market too at Chicago. So
Yeah,
that media machine, wherever you are, is
yeah,
going to be strong. But in Chicago, it's constantly reporting done on the WNBA team, which is the Chicago Sky, of course. And she gets a lot of press, like Najee was saying, because you know, her ability to be able to do certain things on the court, a lot of people might
mhm,
not even like. I mean, and
yeah.
she's able to accomplish that. Looks like her stats here is she scores an average of 10 points a game, 12 rebounds, 2.7 assists, and one steal, generally two steals a game. So I think
But
those
what's
numbers,
her efficiency? What's her efficiency though? Like
the
what's her field goal average?
field goal average is, I can pull it up right here.
I think she's a great player, overall player, man,
No, she
because
is. She is
just
Oh,
think
a
though.
about
field goal
And
something.
she's a
average is
rebounding machine.
thirty-one
Yeah,
percent.
yes,
See,
yeah,
you know how many shots you got to miss to get. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And she got to get
yeah.
So,
fundamentally sound in her game. That's a lot of missed
Well,
shots.
remember something, DC. She was on the
And a
top
lot
of
of
her
her shots
gaming,
is at the
just
rim.
like Caitlin in
yeah,
college,
because
man.
she's right under the rim
They
playing
were
center,
the
right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, she's right
She'll
at the
snap your
rim. So for you
ball.
to miss so many shots is crazy.
Yeah.
So, do you think it's the WNBA's responsibility to protect these players, not just Angel Reese, but any of them? Caitlin Clark, I can name some more. But do you think it's the WNBA's responsibility to protect players from some of the media onslaught, negative media mainly, that's coming at some of these
Yeah.
players, or are these players responsible for
No, they're
protecting
fair.
themselves?
They're fair game, DC. I mean, this is a free of
Yeah,
you're
it's the
supposed to
same
have
way with the
freedom of
NBA.
speech. So they can say what they
Yep.
want. All you got to do is learn how to block it out. That's all. Just learn how to be able to deal with it.
Long as they
It's
ain't talking
like,
about your family, that's all I care
That's
about.
yeah,
As
it.
long as they ain't talking about
Yep.
your
I
family.
remember. Yeah, so long as they don't put their hands on them or assault them, they can say what they want, man. Anybody can say what they want. You know, you just got to learn how to handle that stuff. Because Kevin Durant, he used to go through it big time, man, and he didn't handle it like he should have, and he used to let it get to him. But if you know how to handle this situation of the small talk, so long as nobody walk up to you and assault you, they should just brush that thing off because some of it has a tendency of having jealousy involved in most of it. But then people can say what they want. You just kind of don't worry about it because you got to have that attitude where you know what you are as a person. So whatever
True.
they say, just don't worry about it. I mean, you worry about that type of stuff, you will freaking grow gray and ugly
So
doing it, wrinkles in your face and all.
it's probably best not to even read most of the stuff they write about you if you're smart. Now, it's hard not
If
to
you
read
want
it
to keep your
because
sanity,
you want to know what
well,
these people are saying about you,
Yeah.
and people are curious all the time. even me, I mean, I mean, if somebody says something negative, it tends to be a shock versus something when they say something positive, because a negative is something wrong. So you, as a human being, you automatically react to that, usually in a negative way. I mean, because two negatives don't make a positive, right?
Well, that's where you got to be mature on this thing, because what we've been asking from the moment we started this show together, we've been asking for feedback. You know, we
Exactly.
don't care if they say something negative about us.
Well,
We'll read
yeah,
it
that's
and
true.
move on. You're
That's
not going to
true.
go tuck your tail because somebody said you're ugly or you're
Or
bald
dumb,
headed.
or
You know,
stupid.
or if they say
Yeah,
you're handsome and you guys got a good show, we're looking for good stuff. But if you get bad stuff along the way, that's part of the process, man. That's what this
that's
country is
true.
founded on. You're supposed to have freedom of speech, say what you want, but don't put your hands on me. I mean, somebody see me, hey man, that's okay. But you come over there and just but not put your hands on me. That's where you draw the line. But you can say what you kind of want. We're asking for feedback on our show here. We don't care if you come in and say, "Oh, we're asking for scrutinizing," because it may make us better if we're doing something wrong, also.
Right.
So that's what they got to get used to, man. You think about this, man. I remember Jim Carrey said this on a show one time. He said, "Man, listen. When I was a kid, I used to be the clown of the class. I got suspended. I got beatings from paddlings from, growing up. And then when I see a fan see me and recognize and see me in a store or something, I'm not going to shy them away or tell them to get away from me. I'm going to sign their autograph because I brought this upon myself. I was the one acting like an idiot, and now people love me because I'm a comedian. So I'm gonna hug them. I'm gonna give them my autograph. I'm not gonna push them away. I asked for this. I
Mm-hmm.
asked for people to know who I am. I'm Jim Carrey. So Jim Carrey, here it is, going about your business. I gave him my autograph. So why? Don't get pissed off because people will recognize you. If nobody didn't recognize you, remember we were talking about Dennis Rodman? Dennis Rodman
That's
was a
right.
star on his basketball team. He was doing everything. Nobody ain't know who the hell he was. And he was doing all that work. When he started acting like a jackass, everybody knew who he was.
Yeah.
Everybody. They wanted to idolize him. They start putting tattoos on. They start dyeing their hair. They start acting stupid. I mean, they was doing all this stuff trying to idolize Dennis Rodman. So that's what you get. Once you're a celebrity, you fair game, man. You are fair
And a lot
game.
of a
So
lot of
long as you don't mess
celebrities,
with their family.
a lot of celebrities never seem to understand that either. That you are fair game. You're a target.
Mm-hmm.
Depending
Yep.
on your popularity, if you're a star athlete like Angel Reese, and Coach Prime's the star coach, and he used to be a star athlete, and his kids are going to get scrutinized even when the season starts. Every media outlet is going to be
Oh
following
yeah,
Shador and Shiloh
Yeah.
to
yeah.
see how well they are
Yes.
playing, and if
Yeah,
they
man.
playing horrible, they're gonna bring it out, and they're gonna write about it, and they're gonna talk about it, because these guys are professional athletes. So you have to have a certain level of you know restraint that you can allow people to say, look, you had a shitty game against this team, and it was horrible, and you should play better, and that's what they're going to have to get used to now, because see, these two guys didn't even get drafted, and I'm still referring to Coach Prime's son. At least Shador got drafted, but Shiloh didn't get drafted.
In
So
late
if you
draft,
think
yeah.
about it, I would say that a lot of people were waiting on at least one of them to fail for sure, which is Shador. They'd rather see Shador fail than Shiloh, in my opinion.
The shallow, yeah.
Yeah,
I
because
agree. No, it's
Shador
true.
gets a lot of press, and he's got a lot of success behind him. So anytime a person is that successful, people are just waiting on something to happen for you to fail. I mean, and then they say, "See, I told you so. I told you he wasn't that good, or I told you he was a
And
horrible person, or whatever." Right?
yeah, but those people really don't know the psyche of these young men, bro. I've seen these kids since they were in Little League, and
Mm-hmm.
they're proven winners just like they did. Every program that these guys was injected to became winners. They turned those programs around. You look at Jackson State was losing when they hired Prime. He turned his teams around.
He sure did.
Colorado was losing when they hired Prime. They turned those programs around, and it was nothing but them did it. You can because just think about something. You add a coach and a good player and a couple good players, and it turned the team around because what happened was their energy was contagious. So
Yep.
I love swag, man. Who the hell gonna want swag on your team? Who
That's
you
right.
want a soft quarterback? You want a leader like that. You want a confident person like that leading your organization. Who don't want that? If you don't want that, you're gonna be a loser. You want
Yeah.
some quiet guy who just don't say anything and go down there and throw a bunch of damn interception, or you want a guy going down there throwing strikes.
Yeah.
Shoot,
That's
They
man.
want a Kawhi Leonard on their team. A Kawhi Leonard that they
Dude,
don't speak to
listen to
nobody.
me,
He don't do
man.
nothing but just play ball and get
Hey,
out of the game.
DC, you remember we did our show draft night, man.
we did.
And when Shadur was on the board, when my Dolphin was getting ready to pick, dude, I had these fingers crossed, my legs crossed, and I had my damn eyes crossed for the Dolphins to get it. That's how
I
bad I was off.
listen. I would have
Man,
loved to seen him go to Miami as well because I thought he would have been a good fit for either Pittsburgh or Miami, either or. And I was a little disappointed when Miami decided not to take him as well. Although Miami did bring in, from
a late
Texas.
quarterback from
Yeah,
Texas, yeah.
they got the guy out of Texas. So it's just it was disappointing to see him fall that far, and we've had shows about that before. But
hmm
moving on from this Angel Reese thing, and we'll keep an eye out on the media for her because she is definitely going to be she's going to be in it for the long haul, and she's going to be a
Yeah,
force to be reckoned
yeah,
with in the WNBA. We're going to be covering the WNBA much more closer, you know,
yeah.
just like
In the
once the
past,
NBA season leaves, we're going to be all over the WNBA. We're going to be covering the
yeah,
players, the coaches,
hmm
and the
yeah,
league overall to see how this league keeps growing into something of a success that it took the NBA 40, 50 years to attain.
yeah,
The
yeah.
WNBA is going down that same road. So let's
hmm
move on to this next topic. I have Allen Iverson here, AI, my God. I call him AI, my guy. But Allen
The
Iverson, it looks
answer.
like he set up a deal with Reebok for
Yeah,
him to defer a $32 million trust fund with Reebok. So technically,
yeah.
if you do the math, when he turns 55, he'll get a yearly, he'll
Yeah.
make $800,000 a year. Do you think that's
Yeah,
really
yeah.
good or what?
Man, I think it's absolutely astonishing.
It
I
is.
mean, the shrewd business ventures that was, because no matter what he did in the past, he getting ready to rebound.
Yeah, because he
It was
ran
so
into
many
financial
times.
problems, right?
Of
At some
course,
point, he was
yes,
running into a lot of
yes.
financial issues. And to,
Bankruptcy and allegedly, all whole nine with everything else that comes behind you taking care of a bunch of people and family and flunkies and friends. Then you get short on cash by doing that.
and
But
he
this
went through a
you can make it
divorce
a
too,
rebound.
right? He went through a
Yes,
divorce, so he
yes.
had to pay out a lot of money with
Allegedly, I
that
don't know
divorce.
whether he was went through a divorce, but I know he was in trouble financially, and this can bring him right out of it, man. Because this money don't go away. It's for the rest of his life, from what I understand. So he's good, bro. All he gotta do is chow down his spending along with his pension. He's good. You think about almost $1 million for the rest of your life, man. You can live pretty much wherever the hell you want.
That's true. That's true. It looks like
Yep.
he divorced in 2013 after 11 years of marriage to his wife,
Okay.
Tawana Iverson, and he did pay out quite a bit of money for that. And to see him be able to rebound and come back, and be
Mm-hmm.
able to recover financially, because a lot of athletes, star athletes like
They
that,
don't.
they don't recover. They go into
Yeah,
the
yeah,
hole.
yeah, man.
Nope.
So he's 49
They
years
get in
old
trouble.
right now. So he's got to wait until
Yeah,
he's 55.
they
But
don't. Yeah.
55 is the perfect age for him to start collecting that money, in my opinion. So, Najee, do you think that more athletes should defer a chunk of money to a later time? So if they do run into financial problems, let's just say like Iverson at 55 or at 60, you can just go in and collect money that way.
Well, that's why a lot of players now are businessmen now because they want to establish themselves when they finish playing basketball, so they ain't got to worry about nothing. Now you see, like Draymond when he has his own podcast as an active player, he has Tequila with LeBron, and we already know the freaking hundreds of establishments that LeBron has when it comes to
Yeah,
outside of basketball. You got James Harden that got stuff. You got Russell Westbrook. You had
Right,
yeah,
Ray Allen had stuff right before he retired. Like that's
right.
why a lot of
yeah.
these guys are businessmen now because they already
Sure.
know, this window of basketball is short, and if it's not short, it's eventually will finish. So guess what? We're
Yeah,
gonna have all these type of establishments. We have all these type of businesses going on, and we're gonna be good. Shaq doing the inside
Oh my
NBA
God.
because he wants to. He don't
Exactly.
have to work. He
yeah,
do not
yeah.
have to work. He has Auntie Anne's. He has
He's got all
gyms. He
different types
has
of
Papa John's.
franchises.
He
Yes.
has
Food
He got a lot of
franchises.
stuff. He don't have to
Yeah,
work. Icy High.
yeah,
He
Yeah.
don't
yeah.
have to
Yeah.
work.
He owns Forever
So,
21 too. That
What
clothing
he
store, Forever
so
21.
Oh, he purchased the Forever
oh
21 as
yeah.
well? I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
he owns that. He owns pizza parlors and all that stuff, man. And the icy hot. But and the general, he's endorsed by the general
Yeah.
insurance company.
Hmm.
So the good thing about this, guys, and what we're saying is, I think it's great because some of these folks they need to see, and Shaq got these ideas from Magic because Magic,
Oh yeah.
gave him the playbook to this stuff,
Magic
man.
is a consummate businessman when it comes to
Yes, and
investments
see,
and
that's what
opening
needs to
businesses.
happen.
That's
It, it,
true.
it really needs to happen, especially from the African American perspective, man, because most of these guys grow up in areas where you don't have that leadership around and showing people how to conduct business.
And a support
That's
And I
true.
team.
think they
Yeah.
need to get going with it while they're playing, while they have this enormous cash flow coming in, and they could start a business. Don't wait till your career is over in basketball and then start a business because if it don't go right, then you out of money. But if
That's
you're
true.
doing it while you
That's
got the
true.
cash flow coming in, you can sustain this
Hmm.
thing. And that's what I love about most of these guys now, who's doing this stuff while they're playing. You can get your assistants, get your spouse if your spouse is around. If you're married, have her involved in it. Let her oversee some of this stuff while you're playing. Because once your season's over and that those dollars don't come in as they're been while you were playing, it can make you say, "Oh shoot, I can't afford to get a business like this because I don't have that much money. I got to save it," and then you wind up being broke because you try to do something when you don't have that cash flow coming in. So,
True.
man, more power to these guys, the younger guys. Copycat, turn into a copycat. Look exactly what they're doing. Get that playbook and run with it, man. Because it ain't nothing wrong with it. I
That's
mean,
true.
there's nothing wrong with it.
And you're bringing other people up too. You providing jobs and resources
Jobs
for other
after
people.
jobs. Yes.
All
Yes.
different types of people,
Yeah.
not just African Americans, but you provide good
Hmm.
energy and good jobs and stuff
Yeah.
for people to be able to make a living and live that dream, whatever dream they have.
Yeah.
It makes a big difference. Andre
Of course.
Iguodala, he's another one. He's a venture capitalist now, and he's doing extremely successful with
Hmm.
investments around the country. And he said
Hmm.
he got started in it right after, pretty much before he left basketball, he was involved in it. But to
Best way
see a
to do
player
it.
like Iguodala just take it to the next level in the business
Hmm.
world of venture capitalism, because venture capitalism, it's not a lot of African Americans in venture capitalism, like like other groups. So I would just say, I'm like you, more power to these guys, and bring other people up behind you. Teach these rookies if you can, or talk to them. All you can do is talk to them. We talked about that the
Yeah.
last show,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
just try to
Hmm.
get them to invest a small amount of money, even though it might not look like a lot, but just invest that money and just put it away and forget about it. And then you'll be really happy at the very end of the day when that money is sitting there for you to collect one day. You know,
Hmm.
looks like
Yeah.
Allen Iverson, he's eligible for his NBA pension. and he would be eligible for $8,000 a month. That sounds a little bit low to me from the amount of money that he made in the NBA, but I know they do like a formula with your pension on how much money you've earned over your lifetime. So, with that said,
Yeah,
either way you look at it, Iverson is going to be okay.
yeah.
Yeah, that's like 96 grand a year.
That's not bad. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. I mean, for someone who's
It's not.
retired
It's
at
not.
age.
It's not. It's not bad for ordinary people. For people that probably pay taxes like that per year.
Yeah.
Yep, that's so true. So, last and final topic we'll talk about before we close out this show, and it's been a wonderful show as always. We're going to talk about Josh Allen, the quarterback for the Buffalo Bills. It looks like he tied the knot
The
this past
newlywed.
weekend, and we just want to congratulate him and just tell him and his wife. His wife's name is Hailee, and they had a really nice
Congratulations.
wedding. And you know what? It couldn't have happened to a better guy. Josh Allen is a great guy, and he's a good dude. He takes care of, I mean, his charities and everything else that's involved. I'm really happy to see a young man like that tie a knot to be able to, start a family and bring his family up and things of that sort. So I just wanted to kind of, congratulate him and Hailee for putting together that relationship and tying the knot. And I know he's going to be successful in this upcoming NFL season. I mean, if Buffalo can figure out how to get past teams like the Chiefs and teams like that, they'll be in the Super Bowl. And I'm pretty sure that they vying for
Yeah,
that, you know.
because he just won it. He just won MVP.
MVP,
So yeah,
yeah. And it was
Mhm.
well deserved. Although he was up against Lamar Jackson, I would say,
Yeah.
if you flip the coin, whichever way the coin fell, it could have fell in either one of those guys' laps.
Yeah,
But
I was pleased with either or.
I was
I mean,
pleased too. I mean, I was really
yeah,
happy that Josh
mm-hmm.
Allen won it. Lamar Jackson
yeah,
has won it before, but it doesn't say he shouldn't be able to win it again. He should be able to win it as many
yeah.
times as he earns it. So that's kind of like what it looks like. One last thing, though. Have you guys seen Ray Lewis lately? Ray Lewis has lost mad weight.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
what do you
I,
think? What do you think he's going through? What type of regimen do you think Ray Lewis is involved in? Workout regimen.
He
I've,
probably
I've, I've
changed.
seen the
He
DC.
probably changed his
I've
diet, and he's
seen
probably
DC.
more into cardio now
It
versus
looks like
heavy
he's
lifting.
done a lot more than change his diet. It looks like he's
Well,
probably
DC, he's spinning, bro.
210, 215 at best, right?
Yeah, I see how he's doing it, DC.
How's he
He's
doing?
spinning, bro. He's
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 spinning?
spinning. Yeah, man. He's doing bike riding, man. And bro, there is some high intense stuff
Cardio,
that
just
he's
like I
doing.
said.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
I've
Yeah,
seen it last. Like that'll melt those pounds off of you, bro.
yeah.
When you doing that high is impact spinning like he's doing, yeah, it comes off. Yeah, if you just kind of channel down what you're eating on top of that,
Mm-hmm.
that weight comes off just like that when you're spinning. He's riding high intense bicycles with a group of people. I seen it last week. Yeah,
Okay. That's good to know because I
yeah. He
might
look like
have
a
to.
stop sign now, bro.
Huh?
He look like a stop sign
He
now.
does. I mean, to
Yeah,
me, I didn't even recognize him other than that face of his, with it
yeah.
being Ray Lewis.
Mm-hmm.
So,
He's
well,
really
that's
big.
good
I've
though.
never seen him like
He's
that.
an older man now, so he needs to
oh
get rid of
yeah,
them extra pounds.
absolutely. As you get
Well, the
older, you
thing
need to
is,
be shedding
he
pounds for
just
sure.
probably found something that he loved because he was with a group of people and them guys was all having a great time and they were at it, man. They doing it on a consistent basis. Yep,
Right,
that's what he's doing. That's how it's
right.
coming off.
So, Isaiah, tell us a little bit about Travis Hunter. You said that he was able to dunk, and
Man, this dude's got so much talent. It ain't even funny, man. I watched him on some clippings the other day, slamming. I mean, he could play in the NBA. Not only that, I watched him out there practicing and catching balls and defending as in camp, but to see him on the basketball court doing these enormous slams, man, behind his back, shooting the ball, man, this guy could be in the NBA. I
I'm
just
sure he
couldn't believe
could.
it because he's got so much talent. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
Man, I mean, I had to back the thing up watching it on TV several times to just watch the finesse, the way he gracefully just so easily slammed the ball, man, and just wow. Just easy as he can catch a touchdown running down the field or defend someone from catching the ball into the end zone. He did it just as gracefully to go down there and slam, spinning around like this. It almost looked like Dr. J,
You
man,
bet.
and just slam it. I said, wow. But man, when you got it, you just got it.
Hey, it's a
You know,
different
you
breed of
just got
athletes
it.
nowadays. I mean, this younger
Yeah.
generation, they're exceptional.
Yep.
That's the best word I could put to
Yeah,
their
man.
physical abilities to be able to do certain things that when I was in school, man, we couldn't even I don't even want to go into it because we had such a hard time trying to adjust to certain things in sports. And nowadays it looks like these guys put forth a
Just
small
do with
amount of
ease,
effort to
man.
do what it took us a lot of effort to do. And it was
Yeah.
it's very impressive to see that and see these young athletes keep striving and keep going to that next level because, before you know it, you'll see football players playing in the NBA and
Yeah.
in the NFL at the same time. We haven't seen
Mhm.
a combination like that
Yeah.
since Charlie Ward came out of Florida State, and I think Charlie Ward actually chose basketball. He
Yeah,
chose
he chose
basketball because
basketball.
he was playing for the Knicks for a long time.
He was one of the ones who we talked about with Shador and Shallow. He didn't even get drafted, and he was the Heisman Trophy winner. He didn't
Well,
even get
I
drafted,
think
man.
some of that had to do with him choosing basketball. I think he had already made it known that he was going to go to the NBA. So I'm pretty sure a lot of general managers or teams might have just say, "Look, this might not even make sense to draft him." To they should have, of course, because he's a Heisman winner. But that's just my take on that. So, well, we'll close this show out. We thank you, the viewer, for joining us today with all this good energy and all of this good content that we just brought to you by live streaming. We're picking up some more streams, so we're gonna be doing some more streams. We'll be running into
Yeah,
2 to 3 streams a week. We're gonna do a stream on the
yeah,
weekend. We have a weekend stream planned as well, so just be looking forward to that. Being looking forward to the NBA draft coming up. We're gonna have Najee out front and forward, and we're gonna be following his lead on that NBA draft. I'm going to do a little
yeah.
bit of homework myself and study the NBA
The
draft because I
WNBA,
haven't spent a lot of time on it,
WNBA.
So I want
Yeah,
to learn
the
more
NBA.
about it. I know they have a lottery system unlike the NFL. So the NFL has a system where you just either the first pick. The NBA, they have a lottery, and whoever wins that lottery, which is the Dallas Mavericks this year, is going to have that first pick. So we're excited about
We're
that.
gonna get Cooper Flag. We already know that's
Cooper
gonna happen.
Flag, baby. Cooper Flag, the next superstar in the NBA. But yeah, please subscribe, hit that like button. That algorithm is really pushing us up to the top. So we really appreciate and we love the fact that you guys as a viewer want to come by. But visit our website as well. Our website is www.dcstewartpodcast.com. www.dcstewartpodcast.com. Has some good content over there. We're going to be adding in some more things to that website so you can really pick up some additional beneficiary content from what we have to offer from videos and nutrition. We have an upcoming interview we're going to be doing, and we'll tell you more about that once we get everything set up with that. We're going to be looking forward to offering will call tickets to people who want to interview on this show. We'll be glad to have anyone who want to come on. You don't have to be a professional athlete. You don't have to be a professional anything other than the fact that as long as you want to come on to this show and talk a little bit about your experiences in life, we'll be happy to have you on this show. So anyway, we'll close this thing out and we'll have Isaiah close us out.
Yeah, man, what a blessing. What a true blessing in my life. I think it is to have two partners as you see with DC and Najee, man, most importantly in my life. And I enjoy working with you guys on a daily basis because we somehow, if we're not on screen, we're talking amongst each other throughout the whole
Exactly.
entire week. So it's amazing, man, to have two good people, two people, good friends, and now we're partners in this thing, and it's a beautiful situation. But you guys is entertainment for you guys to watch it and to tell folks, your friends and family, to go back and look at some of the old stuff that we even did last year.
For
So
sure.
just look at it. It's all about entertaining you guys, and hoping that you have a good day and God bless you and continue to watch. Yeah.
Exactly. I second that to what you said, Isaiah, about we're happy with each other because I'm one thing I will say that we did some really good content when we started. Uh Check that content out because it shows the levels that we've actually advanced to the next level. And Najee took us over the top. So I mean, we technically are sitting where we are today because of Najee, and we're so happy to have him aboard. And we're going to be covering high school sports as well. And that's one thing I left out. So we're going to be covering high school football games. And then when next season comes around for high school basketball, we're going to cover that as well. So we'll have a whole section on our website for high school sports. You want to, see interviews with coaches, interviews with players, and things of that sort. So just stay tuned for that because we're bringing it, and we're gonna continue to bring it. Najee, can you close us out?
All right. Like I usually say, peace and blessings, love. God love your loved ones. Because guess what? We have people that just left yesterday. You have young people, old people, people our age. It don't matter, bro. Death don't have an age, bro. They don't have
That's
a
true.
preference or anything. You will be taken away as soon as he wants to. And
True.
yeah, be ready for the first game in the finals. Go Thunder. The
Good.
Pacers ain't winning.
Yeah.
Go Pacers. I'm gonna go with the Pacers. If you guys got the Thunder, I'm gonna have to be contrary to what you guys are going for. Although I will be happy to see the Thunder win. If they do win, I will be satisfied with them winning. Either team win, it's gonna be a win-win situation for the NBA as well. And the players as well. So thank you for joining the DC Stewart Show podcast live stream on YouTube, and we're currently live streaming concurrently on Facebook as well. So if you want to go over to Facebook and check out our content over there, Isaiah puts out some really good content on Facebook. We have a Facebook page devoted strictly to DC Stewart Show Podcast over there, as well as Instagram. We're getting a lot of good feedback on Instagram. And I like
Yeah.
Instagram a lot, just as well as I like YouTube and Facebook. But Instagram to me is where it's at. So visit us over there, follow us over there. We'll be glad to talk to you over there. We'll do this thing again soon. Take care. Take care of yourself first. Peace, love, and prosperity. Take it easy.